Hi, we're Nia and Mary-Anne from Seren Health Coaching. We are metabolic health coaches who are passionate about good metabolic health for everyone. We also love to chat about all things health and to share as much information as we can with people who want to make changes to their lifestyle but aren't quite sure where to start. We're going to release a new episode every Friday where we talk about a different aspect of health. So do subscribe and let us know what you think. We'd also love to know what you're interested in too. So if there's something that you'd like us to have a chat about, do send us a message and we'll do our best to cover it soon.
Oh, Nia, recently I've heard you refer to something that I've never heard of before, and I know you're really passionate about this. So, what is health washing when it's around, and where did it come from?
Well, you might have heard of greenwashing, Mary-Anne,
I
which is
have.
when a company sort of puts out marketing to suggest that their product is very environmentally friendly and good for the planet. And it turns out actually that it's not. It's just a clever marketing ruse. Um, but I just thought the other day that, greenwashing is this thing where this
Mm.
product is meant to be better than we think it is. And the same applies to our health when we're looking at products that we can buy in the shops. So if I said to you, well, there's a common drink that everybody knows is so good for you, it's derived from a fruit. It's got amazing health boosting benefits. It's good for immunity, especially when you have a cold, lots of vitamin C. I wonder whether you'd be with me. Um,
So you mean the one that is orange in color and often says vitamin C added on it, which is always intriguing because how do you add vitamin C? And
to an
also,
orange.
I watched a program recently where it isn't as fresh as you think it is. So it's stored in tanks, and then they mix the pulp back in if you want a bit of pulp. So it says
Oh, that's
bits.
disgusting.
Do you want it with bits or do you want it without bits? Anyway, what they conjure up in your head is that there's that squeezer, that orange squeezer with all the orange pith lying in a nice glass box, like you see in the coffee
Yes.
bars. So that's what
Yes.
they're conjuring up, but that's not quite how it goes, is it?
It's not. So you might say, well, orange juice is really good for me. And some people will say they drink it for breakfast every day. And especially if they have a cold, they might have a bit more. And of course, they'll say, well, it's so much better for you than it is if you had a fizzy drink. And that's where the health washing part comes in. So, in actual fact, there is more sugar in a glass of orange juice than there is in an equivalent glass of Coke. Did you know
That's
that?
shocking. Isn't that
Yeah,
shocking?
I think it's shocking. Um, and we all think that orange juice is much better for us, but actually, what we're doing is drinking a huge amount of sugar all in
Mm,
one go. First thing in the morning, boom,
mm,
we've given our body such a
mm.
shock.
And we're drinking it as a health product. So I think the thing about drinking Coke is that it's not a health product.
Of
So
course.
the fact is it isn't good for you, and you could argue at least orange juice has got some nutritional content. So if you had to choose, you might still choose the orange juice, but the fact is you're thinking, and that's what health washing is, I presume, is that you're thinking you're adding to your health by drinking a fruit-based product. Tell us more.
Absolutely. You think you're doing the right thing. It's like when you buy the eco friendly washing up liquid and you think
Mm.
you're doing the right thing for the planet. But when you read the back, it actually says damaging to aquatic organisms. And you think, oh, well, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to be nice to the fish. So you're thinking you're doing something good
Mm.
for your health, but actually you're not. And if you were to eat the orange whole, you would still get all the benefits of the vitamin C from that orange, but you'd have the fiber in the fruit to slow that sugar release down. And actually, even the vitamin C is a bit of a myth because you don't get as much vitamin C from an orange as you would from sprouts, from kale, from peppers, from kiwis, strawberries. So it's all a bit mangled, really.
Give us a few more examples of health washing because I'm intrigued. So what other things do you think people don't know about?
You've also got all those products that say no added sugar. That's my personal favourite. No added sugar. But there is sugar in it. It's
Mm.
natural sugar.
So how do you know that? So if you look at the back of that product with no added sugar, how do you
Mm.
read the label to know there is sugar in there? Because that's something I think for me was really, really um, illuminary. Because now I could read the label, so now I could work out that there were so many teaspoons. And by the way, I'm not interested in grams. So once you
Mm.
know the grams for equals a teaspoon, it sort of makes more sense. Don't tell me there's 8 grams, tell me there's 2 teaspoons. So, for instance, in a glass of orange juice, how much sugar is there?
Well, I'm going to have to tell you in grams. There's 34 grams of sugar.
So is well,
It is, dun,
it's
dun, 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 it's
it's
8.5.
8. Yeah.
8.5.
Okay, so
That's
eight and a
shocking.
half teaspoons of sugar in a glass of orange. Most people wouldn't know that, but they wouldn't know that even if they turned the bottle
The
round
label
to
over.
read it.
Well, yes, look at the back of the packet. Look for the
Everything.
sugar. So look at anything that's got O's. So fructose, sucrose,
Yeah, yeah.
what is it? High fructose corn syrup. Anything that ends in O's is basically a sugar, whether it's naturally occurring or has
Mm,
been added in by the
mm,
manufacturer. Um, and and obviously fruit contains natural sugars. And I'm not
mm.
saying sugar is
No,
like, you can't avoid sugar actually, however much you try.
and
But
maybe you
what we're
shouldn't
and maybe you
avoid
shouldn't.
sugar. Yeah,
Yeah, but you always have to be aware of what the added things are. So when you look at the ingredients list, the largest amount of whatever is in there comes first.
yeah.
So if
Okay.
your bar is talking
Yeah.
about sucrose or fructose or
Mm.
sucralose, and they're all starting at the beginning, actually this product
This is
contains more
high.
sugar.
So two things. One is look for the sugar term and you'll find it, and slowly you'll get to realize they don't always call it sugar, and that's for good reason. The
Yeah,
second is look at the order of what is in that product. So if it comes high in the order of ingredients, you can be sure that that is probably higher in sugar. And natural sugar occurs in all sorts of ways, in fruits mostly, and then there's honeys and other maple syrup. There's
yeah.
lots of natural occurring sugars, and the sugar content is no different whether it's natural or whether it's produced,
No, so
manufactured.
so
But
when they say
yeah,
no added sugar, what it doesn't
yeah,
mean
yeah.
that the product doesn't
It
have
could
sugar in it.
So it could still be high in sugar. So that's
Yeah.
another health wash. What about the smoothie industry? So there's a huge industry of smoothies. And I myself have certainly in the past, not that long in the past, bought what I think is a healthy dollop of something in a smoothie. And on the front, it's always got very nice pictures of fruit.
Mm.
Um, when you look at the label and you read the ingredients, they're quite often banana based, which presumably is cheaper to use than some of the other fruits. So you'll see that there's a pecking order in terms of fruit. So
Yeah.
the guava on the front will be the
The least amount.
0.7%, yeah,
Mm,
which is always
mm.
so disappointing when you see, if you're African like me, you see a guava, you're very excited, but actually it's got the taint of a guava, if
Yeah, I
you're
mean
lucky.
it waved at a guava as it went
Yeah,
by.
yeah, exactly.
It's so yeah, all of those things. I mean, smoothies in themselves contain a huge amount of sugar because they are literally just whole fruits that have been juiced. And I think this has all started for me actually when I looked at some of the smoothies that children were marketed to,
Mm.
and I was thinking, well, I don't give my kids Coke. And then I looked and I thought, well, if I give them this, I'm pretty much giving them Coke, so I might as well.
Say maybe in defense of people who are using these products, to be honest, a lot of people are very busy. They have already sent their children off with the lunch boxes. They last on the list. They do not take their own lunch. They stand in a supermarket trying to think where they
What's
would
the best
find
choice?
something nutritional that's a better bet than some of the others. So I think we have to acquiesce that there is health washing, but the more critical and analytical we are about how we look at the labels and decide, the risks versus benefits,
Mm,
or what we're getting for our money, of keeping in mind that you're being sold products that have labels on that make you think that you're buying something healthy, but actually
mm.
that's covering a multitude of sins. But we still have to say that there are some products that are better than others, that
Yep.
everybody's going to buy some of these some of the time, and it's buying the best.
Was take the time, really read the label, consider the ingredients in the product you're buying, and have they been health washed by the marketing to make them look like they've got a better reputation.
Lovely, Nia. Thanks for that. And now health washing is definitely in my vocab. Really interesting. Thanks for that. See you soon.
See you
Bye for
soon.
now.
Bye.